Welcome back to another day of Momentum WOD training. My name is Brandon. Today I'm going to coach and guide you through this Evolve System WOD, a functional twist on traditional strength training using a single kettlebell. Because this week is a low volume week of training, we are going to be separating out pushing and pulling movements into two separate Evolve WODs. Today you'll be performing a pulling workout in which you'll be performing a series of 4 different exercises 4 times through. The exercises included in today's workout will be as follows. You'll start off with the ballistic row for 10 repetitions each arm. From there, you'll move to a deadlift to dead clean for 10 reps. After that, lateral lunge kettlebell switches for 10 reps in each direction, and then close out the sequence with 5 repetitions of the dead clean on each side. Let's grab a moderate weight kettlebell and get started, kicking things off with 20 repetitions of the ballistic row. Good luck today. If you have access to a heavier kettlebell and really want to challenge yourself during today's workout, now would be a good time to make use of it. Much like would be the case with two-handed swings, the deadlift to clean is intended to be powerful and performed with significant weight. In more conventional strength training, accessing the coronal plane through the performance of lateral movements often gets neglected and overlooked because these exercises tend not to be the ones that provide the most gains. However, if training for an athletic endeavor, or if you are simply trying to be able to function with a higher quality of movement, these exercises are important. When performing a dead clean, you are generating a significant amount of force from the ground up to direct the kettlebell vertically from a dead stop position. Because of the amount of force required, the mechanics of this movement need to be spot on. In between each rep, take the time to reset your positioning so your spinal alignment is correct. That's 1 round down and 3 more to go. You have a minute of rest in between each round of today's workout. Let's use that time wisely. Round 2 is about to begin, and just like your last round, you're kicking things off with 10 repetitions of the ballistic row with each arm. The mechanics of the two-handed clean are similar to the mechanics of a one-arm clean in that the bell should travel in a linear path from the ground to the goblet position. Both the clean and the deadlift should be efficient and powerful posterior chain movements. During performance of the lateral lunge kettlebell switch, it is important to challenge yourself, but to be mindful that while this exercise may be uncomfortable, it should not provoke pain in the knees or hips. If you find that it is, listen to your body and work within a range of motion that your hips will allow for. Today's workout is a short one. You're over halfway done already. You have 8.5 minutes remaining, a minute break before we start our next round. The ballistic row is very similar to a regular one-arm bent-over row, with the exception that the kettlebell is being passed from hand to hand with each repetition. Because of this variation of the row is slightly more difficult than the aforementioned staple for pulling and grip strength. Execution of the lateral lunge kettlebell switch is facilitated by reciprocal hip mobility on each side of the movement. The side being lunged into requires adequate hip flexion and slight external rotation, while the opposite side necessitates some hip extension and adequate hip abduction. Because we're alternating from side to side, this exercise does a great job of mobilizing and strengthening both of the hips through multiple ranges of motion relevant to your grappling performance. As I mentioned earlier, the dead clean is an exercise of linear force production, the explosive transfer of force from your lower extremities and core to the upper extremities. Be mindful to keep the bell's trajectory strictly within the y-axis. There should not be any horizontal translation of the kettlebell during this movement. Three rounds in the books, one more to go. A minute of rest before you finish this thing off. Before we commence this final round of today's workout, I want you to make sure that your head is in the game, you're ready to go, and you give this everything you have. Don't take a single repetition off. Get the most out of it. Let's go. The deadlift is a great exercise for any martial arts or combat sport athlete to incorporate into their strength training routine because of the implications for posterior chain power and core stability. Combining these assets with a two-handed clean will further promote full body strength and hypertrophy, improving upon an already amazing exercise. This next set of dead cleans is going to be your last set of this workout. You have 5 repetitions on each side and then you are done. Let's make these the best reps yet. Last set, best set.